Hello everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started in this course, and so we're going to begin here in Unit 1. Introduction to Precision Ag is kind of the title for this, and kind of the whole goal for this whole unit is to try and to not only build a definition of what is Precision Ag, and trying to get a grasp of what it actually is and what it entails, but we're also going to look at the history, kind of how we've gotten to this point of what we have now, take a look at what we currently have, and then we're going to wrap up the unit kind of taking a look at a little bit of some of the issues that we've seen with precision agriculture, as well as what is kind of that future looking like, because as precision ag is a new technology, it's constantly changing. And so, it's interesting to see some of the images that are being created of what some people think this future is like. So this first little video part here is we're just going to kind of take a look at trying to define what precision ag is and a little bit of the history. So to kind of begin with, so here's a question is, what do you think precision ag is? When it first came out, when this term first came out, a lot of people weren't quite sure what it is or what it meant. And now we've started getting into where it's a common term that people will hear. So when you think about it, a lot of people will think, when you hear precision ag, the first thing that pops in their minds is GPS. Usually when I ask this question to folks, that's usually the first thing I get back is GPS. And that is a huge part of it. But also some people may think of sensors, like some crop sensors or what we see on a combine or on a tractor. Some other people may think of it as the maps. The data, the colorful maps that are being created. Other people can think of it as in terms of what's on the sprayer, the spray controllers, or what's in the combine with yield monitors. Some people now, auto steering is fairly common. So that is what some other people think of. Some others may think what they think about is some of the newer things we've seen is integrated displays, what we see sitting in the cab, or vehicle-to-vehicle communications. There's a lot of things that go on with the cloud now with precision ag. So really, the definition, precision ag is what? So here's what I want you to do out on Blackboard. I have a discussion post out there, and I want each one of you to come up with a definition, as in, imagine you're walking down the street, you run into someone, and you say, yes, I'm taking a course in precision ag, and they go, oh, what is precision ag? So give me a definition of what precision ag is. Post your definition out there on Blackboard, and then also go out and take a look at what some of your classmates have posted out there, and feel free to comment. Make a couple comments to some others. Kind of the goal of this is to have some healthy dialogue and start trying to define what precision ag is. I will guarantee you everyone was going to come up with a different definition of what they think it is. So, precision ag, what is it? What I have here is kind of the definition I've developed. And it can certainly, this is not the definition. I've actually tweaked it over the years. I've kind of refined a little bit. And it's one it could still be questioned. There's some things you could look at it. But the definition I came up for is using technology to collect and analyze data specific to a location for making more informed decisions. Originally, what I had in there was at the very end there, instead of making more informed decisions, I had making better decisions. And that is kind of the goal of precision ag, is to try and make a better decision. But not everything we do is always going to be for the better. And there is a case several years ago utilizing precision ag. I took a look at the data and said, based off the data, this is, I think, what should happen to this farm. Wasn't the best decision. We didn't get the yields that we were expecting that year. So I had to kind of go back and change this. But, the goal was I had more data there to look at. I had more information in my hands. So it was trying to help me trying to paint a better picture. So I had more information at the ready to make that decision. So, but yeah, there's some key words in there. Technology, collecting, analyzing, and kind of the key phrase are specific to a location, because we're kind of tying it into here's what's going on in this part of a field or at this location. So to kind of begin with, some people's initial thought as soon as we started talking precision ag, a lot of farmers were very hesitant, and basically that their initial thought was this. Imagine you're that kid sitting out there on the front of the airplane. By the way, this is a photoshopped image, nothing to worry about. But, that is what some people kind of perceive precision ag is. It's something really scary. It scared them to death, and that's not something they want to get it into. So that's what some people's initial thought has been. We've kind of gotten away from that. So this is kind of going away from that. So that is one aspect. Another aspect, too, is when we talk about precision ag, some people think it could be kind of confusing, almost too confusing. Something like that is in this video, and I'm going to go ahead and play this video. It's kind of a throwback to an old TV show. It's kind of a nice little parody. It kind of puts in a reference. By the way, you could probably utilize the same trick that was utilized in this. Utilize it at an upcoming function. You could probably make a few dollars off it. So go ahead and play this video right now. This video had to be taken out of the presentation due to copyright laws. So I do have a copy of this video, or a YouTube link to this video, posted in Blackboard. So when you get a moment, please watch the video there. Thank you. So how was that? So kind of funny, and once again, some people think it could be precision ag is kind of like that. It's kind of confusing. And same thing there. We've kind of we've gotten to a point now in the industry where it's a lot easier to understand, and it's making sense, and we're seeing the dividends coming from that. So that's kind of the whole definition part of kind of defining what precision ag is. So now we'll kind of take a look at a brief history. And so one of the key factors of precision ag is in the agronomic sense of things, in the crop side. And so kind of one of the key goals of precision ag, as we saw in that definition, is going back and managing a smaller area of a field. And we haven't, this is not something earth-shattering. It's been around for some time. You can kind of see by the picture there on the bottom. But so this is a question I always throw out, and you may want to pause the video at this point and think about this for a little bit. But think about, what is the smallest unit we can manage in a field? And I throw this question out to people all the time, and a lot of time I get answers back of an acre or half acre, quarter acre, 10 foot by 10 foot square. All of those are wrong. But if you think about it, physically and in all sense of capabilities, what is the smallest unit we can actually manage? Well, that would be the plant itself. Managing every single kernel corn that we have planted out there in the soil, or every bean plant that we have growing up, or every cotton plant. So the plant itself and the soil that plant needs to survive. In theory, that is the smallest unit we can manage. And we're getting really close with doing that in precision ag right now. When precision ag first started, we didn't see that. We weren't to that capabilities, but we're actually getting back to that. And the reason why this is not new, well, this is what the world's first farmers did. And as you can kind of see by the picture there in the bottom right-hand corner, think about it. Every seed that they raised was planted by hand. They had to place each seed in the ground one by one. They cultivated that seed, they worked it, individually, as well as, come the end of the season, they harvested it one by one. So that's kind of what the world's first farmers did. So what kind of happened is, as the Industrial Revolution kicked in, we as a society, we evolved. And so we started becoming to where we took a whole field, and whether that field was 40 acres or 80 acres or 150 acres, that whole field became the smallest unit. And we based all of our decisions and what we did with that field, everything applied at the same time. Prime example, when I was growing up in the 80s, early 80s, my dad, he would go out and spray his fields. And the way it was, he'd go out and take a look, and if he saw a cocklebur when he walked in that field, we're going to spray the whole field, because maybe there is a cocklebur in the rest of the field, but I'm going to kill them, and I want to make sure I get them all. So it didn't matter if we had cocklebursts throughout the whole field got sprayed. And the reason why we did that, well, we needed consistency because we needed to grow our crops. So what came about was larger and faster implements, that need to be consistent. We also increased our productivity. If you look over the years at what average yields for a lot of crops have been, they've gone up. And we have to, take that into account. So we need those larger and faster implements. We needed to be more consistent because of that. And because of those same things, we needed some things like constant rate applications. The story I referenced with my dad and what he did. So that was, kind of what has come about. And so the problem is the technology to kind of, once again, get it back down to managing the smaller units. That technology didn't exist. And so there was kind of that gap there for a while. And so the way it came about was in the early 1990s. And it kind of basically started with the yield monitor and pairing that yield monitor up with a GPS. So that yield monitor would go through the field and it's recording how much grain is coming through the combine at that time. We tied it into a GPS, which can say, okay, at this location, here's what you saw for a yield. Here's what we had for moisture. So that's kind of where it all started. And the nice thing is, it allowed us to start breaking those larger fields down, putting them into those smaller units and looking for some of those variations. As you can see as the image there on the screen that came from the SatShot website, we can see that there's differences in that field. So we started breaking those larger fields down and looking at what we're seeing for differences. And then that kind of led into, the next evolution of is variable rate machinery. Being able to change my planter population as we go through the field. Or be able to change my spraying rates as we go through the field. So what Precision Ag has been, the goal has been getting back to managing the variations that we find in a field. It says a larger field, but any size of field. It could be a 2-acre field. There's going to be variations in that field. So the goal is with Precision Ag is we're trying to get back to managing those variations that we find in a field. And in essence, what we're trying to do is we're trying to come around full circle from where it all began. Back to those Indians, the native Indians, the Incas down in Central America, some of the world's first farmers. Getting back to getting that seed the best potential it has. So, as I kind of said, the history kind of began in 1992. Reality, some people may question this, but a lot of people will tend to agree that it kind of began in 1992. A little known company by the name of Ag Leader. Its president, Al Myers, was working a full-time job in Ames and just was figuring there's got to be something out there. What would be the next thing out there that's something that a farmer would be interested in? And he was actually visiting with some farmers and kind of got this idea for a yield monitor. And what you see there on the screen is some of the first models of a yield monitor. And you compare that to what we see now, which is a big, colorful touchscreen display sitting in a cab. This was in 1992, which was 25 years ago. So in a quarter of a century, we have come a very long ways. So that's kind of where it all began. It started with that, and then it just kind of grew from that. And the rest of this course is going to be looking at a lot of these technologies that have developed from this, along with the yield monitor and everything else. So this ends the first part of this video lesson. So at this point, we'll conclude this video. You take a look on the blackboard, make sure to get that discussion post out there and come up with that definition of what Precision Ag is. Thank you.